Okay, my brain is still processing everything that just happened. We just got the Nintendo Direct of the decade, revealing the new information about the Nintendo Switch 2, and my goodness, there are so many things that I need to talk about. But I want to go over the Direct and talk about my first impressions and what this means for the Nintendo Switch 2 and what you can look forward to and just all these things. Also, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, but the Switch 2 won't stop for anybody. The very first thing that was shown off was more details on the brand new Mario Kart game, which is not called Mario Kart 9 or 10. It's now called Mario Kart World, which is completely different than what I thought it would be called. I thought they would want to do like a numbered name so that it didn't confuse anyone. We know how they are with numbers and names and trying not to confuse people. But we saw a ton of new information with this game. First of all, the main thing for me was the amount of characters there were. It seemed like every villain in this series was playable. Like seriously, there were so many. I can't even believe this. Oh, and we can't forget the cow. What the heck? You can play as the cow from Moo Moo Meadows now? And of course, the new gimmicks, like driving a boat. But I think the biggest part is that it's practically an open world game, which is probably why it's called Mario Kart World now that I think about it. Yeah, you can pretty much drive anywhere on the map. There's a Grand Prix mode that returns, along with what's called Knockout Tour. Players take part in races from one corner of the world to another with checkpoints. Players are eliminated if they're last to reach certain checkpoints. There's also a free roam mode that allows players to basically go anywhere they want for a scenic drive and take photos with friends with the new chat system. I'm not a big fan, but I will touch on it. Another very interesting part about this game is the price, which we will get back to, and my goodness, I can't believe that either. But after they talked about Mario Kart, we got to hear a little bit more about the system itself. First off, we gotta clear up the elephant in the room, the C button. I'm gonna do a whole entire video on this C button, because my goodness, I have some thoughts. First of all, if you didn't know, they hid the C button from us for like months. We heard about it in January, and it was only just recently on the Nintendo Today app that they actually showed us that this was a C button. Why was there a secret about the C button? Well, it's because of the feature that it now features. The game chat. Yes, we now have game chat on the Nintendo Switch with the C button. They made the C button seem like it was some sort of big, massive gimmick that would completely change the Switch, so they covered it up. I have no idea why they would cover it up if it's just game chat. It's not that big of a deal. We've seen game chat on PS5 and Xbox for ages. So, in my opinion, yes, they're making a very big deal about game chat with just the C button. Seems like they want to integrate this a ton. And yes, we got to see more information about it. We can see that you can now communicate with friends. We can see our friend's screen at 10 frames per second at a completely compressed video stream. We can now talk to them with the included microphone that's on the Switch console itself, and we can also use the new camera. That's right, the Nintendo Switch now has a camera, which I will also talk about in a separate video, I think, because my goodness, look at it. It's like 480p. I don't know, I got so many thoughts about this. I just can't believe that they're finally adding a mic and a camera and game chat in general, and it's just available for everyone, except for those who don't have Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah, you can't actually access this unless you have Nintendo Switch Online. They made a whole button for a feature you might not be even able to access. This is just weird. I have so many thoughts on this. But anyways, it seems like they've kind of nailed what they want to do. There's a whole noise canceling tech. There's a whole cropping mechanic that they're using. It looks interesting. I really don't use voice chat on my PS5 very much or at all. I might have used it 3 or 4 times since I've had the console. Maybe it'll be different to see how Nintendo utilizes it with the Nintendo Switch. I don't really think it's going to change my gameplay style all too much in general, but only time will tell. But that's what they announced. They showed us more about that. Another thing they showed us was local play via game share. They made it seem like this big, brand new, massive thing that nobody's ever done before. They've done this themselves on the DS with download play. You can now play multiple Switches with one cartridge of the game. If you have Super Mario 3D World, only one person needs to buy that and multiple people can play it. I love the idea, and I think that's great and gets even more value out of your games. I can't believe it's not here already. And I also don't understand why they would want to add that feature in the first place anyways, because that pretty much loses an entire game sale for them is what I would think. But it also might just sell more systems. So this is a very odd decision. Again, it's odd because they've done it before and they're making it seem like this big deal. We also got to see a brand new game called Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This is essentially the Astrobot of the Nintendo Switch 2, where it's an entire game fully utilizing the Switch's hardware itself. It seems like there's little mini games like golf that shows off the new mouse feature and the gyro feature, and it just talks about the magnets and all that fun stuff. Although what surprises me is that this isn't free. They literally said that you have to pay for this. This should be a pack and tech demo. I don't understand what's going on. Nintendo's getting a little greedy here. This doesn't look like a fun game that I'd want to pay for. Maybe $5. I don't know. but it's just odd that they made it clear that you have to pay for this, and this is a tech demo for their own system to show off features. Now, maybe this could blow me away. Maybe this will be like the Nintendo Land on the Wii U, or, you know, I don't want to say 1-2 Switch, but it could be like 1-2 Switch, except Nintendo Land was way more fun. But it's just odd that you have to pay for it, especially because it seems so minimal. They didn't show us anything that makes me want to pay for it or feel like I need to pay for it. This game shows you how to use your Switch 2 and what it does. Why am I paying for that? We also got some news about Nintendo Switch 2 games. So there will be 3 types of games. There will be Nintendo Switch games, your standard Nintendo Switch 1 games. There will be your Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games, which are only playable on the Nintendo Switch 2. And then there will be Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games. And Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games are pretty much the same game, but much better. They had performance boosts, visual enhancements, and in some cases, even more content. So for example, they showed us some new mini games in Super Mario Party Jamboree, which now uses the Switch 2's features like the microphone, the camera, at 480p, and they're just adding more features for free for those who have Nintendo Switch Online. But like I said, the performance and graphics side of this is probably the best part of it, because we got to see Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom running at 60 frames per second. I can't believe this. I literally can't believe this. Those leaks for Breath of the Wild 4K are actually real. They have HDR support, there's 60 frames per second, possibly 120 frames per second, and it can go at a higher resolution than 1080p, possibly 4K. I am so excited for this because I couldn't beat Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know why, but my goodness, I definitely will now. It looks beautiful. But it's not just Tears of the Kingdom that looks beautiful. We got Kirby back! Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and then this whole new DLC pack for the Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games. Oh my gosh! I can't believe this. Not only is the game now running at a higher resolution than 1080p and 60 frames per second, we got a brand new DLC pack. Like I said, I don't even, today doesn't feel real. But it's not just Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games we got the Nintendo Switch exclusive games, the brand new games just on the Nintendo Switch. And one of the first ones they showed off was Drag X Drive. This is a wheelchair basketball game. This game fully utilizes the Switch 2's Joy-Cons with the mouse mode and makes you drag them like this and then shoot the basketball. I'm not gonna lie, it's a very cool idea, and the fact that you're playing as wheelchair people is unique. The gameplay did look a little slow though. I couldn't imagine doing this. Like, I feel like it just get a little hard after a while. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't seem like the most optimal way to play a sports game, and I feel like it's one of those extremely gimmicky games that won't really last very long, but it's cool to see that we got kind of this new IP from Nintendo for this. Smash Rap, hello. Before we get into the new games, we gotta talk about some old games. GameCube games. Because yes, they finally added GameCube games to Nintendo Switch Online. This is crazy to me. People have wanted Wind Waker, people have wanted F-Zero GX, people have wanted all these GameCube games, and we're finally getting them, all online multiplayer, and my goodness, it's awesome. Now, there's a little bit of an elephant in the room. We didn't get Smash Bros. Melee, which I think is a huge missed opportunity. I have no idea why they wouldn't add Melee. That would have been a perfect game. They may not have been able to do that because of some sort of technical issues, but I think that if they could get Melee on this, people will be upgrading left, right, and center. Not only that, Mario Kart Double Dash would have also been the perfect game to put here. Obviously, they don't want to shout out Mario Kart World with Double Dash, but it would have been just cool to see that. And those are like the 2 main GameCube games that Nintendo fans want on GameCube NSO. We also got to see Wind Waker. This pretty much confirms that in my brain, Wind Waker HD 4K won't be on Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know why, because they've already ported it and the art style can easily carry over and run perfectly. They just didn't do it. And it's most likely so that they can sell it on Nintendo Switch Online, but the game is already done and it already looks beautiful on Wii U, so I don't know why they didn't put it on the Nintendo Switch. It's just odd that it's not here. But jumping back to new games, we got a ton of third-party support on the Switch. This is one of the things that I was looking most forward to. We got a powerful Nintendo Switch console that can actually play third-party games, because if you have a Nintendo Switch 1, you know that playing any third-party game is like playing with dirt. Not as fun, and it looks bad. The big kicker here was Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring. And it looked really good. I've never played Elden Ring, but I'm happy that now that it's coming to Switch 2, I can get angry at video games. We also got games like Split Fiction, which is a perfect game for the Nintendo consoles. I will be honest, just by the gameplay, it doesn't look like it'll be as graphically advanced as a PS5, but it still looks really good, and this is the perfect game to come out on the Switch. We also got Hogwarts Legacy, which is on the Switch. We all know how that went. Bad. Hades 2. Street Fighter 6. Oh my goodness, that's an amazing game to put on the Switch too. And oh yeah, and I think it's launch day. And it's not even just Street Fighter 6 that I think is insane, but it's the fact we have Street Fighter 6 Amiibo. We haven't got Amiibo since the Splatoon 3 ones last year. And just the fact that Capcom is releasing Street Fighter Amiibo? What is going on? What the heck? And it's not even just the figures. I think there's amiibo cards too. And they're all coming out on launch day. Oh, my wallet. I'm gonna drop so much money on June 5th because yes, that's when the Switch 2 is getting released. On top of this, we got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 plus 4. Cyberpunk? Cyberpunk was a mess on launch day PS4, which tells me that the Switch 2 is also more powerful than the PS4. Crazy. And a lot of these games will implement the new Switch 2 mouse feature. I'm gonna pass out. We also got this new game announcement that was very odd, and I didn't understand why they spent so much time on it. It's called Dusk Bloods by From Software. These are the people that made Elden Ring. So they're essentially making an Elden Ring-esque game just for the Nintendo Switch 2. That's right, it's an exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 game. I don't really have that many opinions on this game. I'm not a big Elden Ring or From Software fan. Not that I wouldn't play it, I just haven't. But I think with the Switch 2 era, giddy up, I'm gonna be playing them. But we can't forget about the actual first-party Nintendo Switch games, like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. My golly goodness, it's not stuttering. It's not running at sub 30 frames. Finally, this is the prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. We kind of all saw this coming, right? I mean, we haven't seen a Warriors game like this in quite a while, and Age of Calamity sold so well. Following it up with this game is a no-brainer. It looks fun and good for a hack and slash game, which aren't always my cup of tea, but I'm gonna be excited to try this out, especially when it doesn't hitch like a hacker. I think more than any announcement in this entire direct, one that made me absolutely shocked was the brand new Kirby game, Kirby Air Riders. Now, if you don't know, Sakurai, the person who made Smash Bros, has been working on a game and has been teasing a game for quite some time. And he said that his game was gonna get announced soon. We all thought it was gonna be a new Kid Icarus. We all thought possibly it was gonna be a new Smash Bros. And in this direct, we got Kirby Air Riders. Now, Sakurai actually made Kirby. He was the one who developed and created Kirby, that little pink guy, but he hasn't actually worked on a Kirby game in a long time. So none of us really thought that Kirby Air Rider would actually get a sequel, but that's wrong. I'm gonna be honest, and I can't be the only one. I thought this was going to be a Smash Bros announcement because it started with Kirby on the Warp Star, following had very Smash Bros CGI trailer vibes. There was no way you could convince me that this wasn't a Smash Bros game, especially because of the World of Light thing. It's like, they definitely teased this. And then they got the boosters on the back of the Warp Star. I'm like, Kirby Air Riders? No, that doesn't make sense, but it was Kirby Air Riders. Now, this is a very interesting game idea in the first place. Kind of boggles my mind from a business standpoint because they already have Mario Kart. Is it not kind of weird that they're doing two separate kart racers in 1 year? I feel like obviously Mario Kart World is going to be a lot more popular than Kirby Air Riders, and a lot more people would buy Mario Kart instead of Kirby. Is it too many racing games? I don't know. As someone who didn't get a chance to really play Kirby Air Riders back on the GameCube very long, played it maybe once when I was super young, but I don't really remember much about it. I think it's going to be fascinating how Sakurai, one of the best game developers ever, implements his masterpieces into a kart racer like this. Man, I am fascinated. We got the bikes, we got the separate types of Kirbys. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this one. This one caught me off guard the most. I just can't believe it. We still don't have a release date for it, but I'm hoping it's soon, and it's in 2025. Now for the big showstopper. Literally it ended the show. Donkey Kong Bonanza, our new 3D Mario. That isn't 3D Mario. Yes, this shows off the brand new Donkey Kong design in an entire game. And it's a 3D platformer, a Donkey Kong 3D platformer. It took them 11 years to make a brand new original Donkey Kong game, and it's a 3D platformer, which I absolutely love. By the way, as I'm talking about this, I don't mean for it to sound like I'm hating on it, but I also just truly can't believe that they replaced their 3D Mario, their massive 3D Mario game, with a Donkey Kong game. Obviously, they're not completely replacing 3D Mario, and I'm sure we'll get another 3D Mario sooner rather than later. This is clearly made by the same developers who made Super Mario Odyssey. The art style is very similar. So it's just wild that they took their development time to make a Donkey Kong exclusive game. But what I also don't understand is that with this new design, which, by the way, I'm starting to like, it's starting to grow on me. I didn't like it at first, but it is starting to grow on me now. They must got something going on with the Donkey Kong IP, and I will touch on this in another video, but the fact that they spent $500,000 on a theme park, a Universal theme park, and they designed it completely around his old design, and then now they're completely reworking his design, kind of disfiguring everything that we knew about Donkey Kong. It's weird. Also, Donkey Kong has overalls on, and I don't know how I feel about that. Is he just gonna have overalls now? Like, what's happening? What's even great is that this comes out the month after the Switch 2 releases on July 17th. Yes! A lot sooner than I thought. Now, I didn't really talk about the release date or the price for it yet, but I will now. The price is $450 and $500 with the Mario Kart World bundle. This surprises me. My first impression is, wow, that's expensive, but also at the same time, I think the reason it's so expensive is because it is actually a powerful system. It can do 4K and up to 120 frames per second. That is crazy. They are future-proofing this Nintendo Switch. A lot of people thought it was going to cap at $400, but seeing this $450 price tag, it makes sense. They're future-proofing it so they don't have to change the price later on. It's just getting awfully close to the PlayStation and Xbox price, which surprises me because generally Nintendo strays so far away from those prices. On top of the pricing, games are now more money. We've seen games for the last few years be $69.99 instead of $59.99 like they always have been or for a long time have been. So generally we thought, just like Tears of the Kingdom, these new Switch 2 games would be $69.99. No, they're actually more. They're $79.99, $20 more than what Switch 1 games are. Now I think the prices will vary depending on the game. Like Mario Kart is $79.99 and Donkey Kong Bonanza is actually $69.99 for some reason. I don't know why those ones are so different. Maybe it's because they know Mario Kart World is going to sell so much more. I just find it odd because it seems like they're both really heavy, weighty Nintendo Switch 2 games. So having them be priced differently is kind of odd to me. But my goodness, going a full-blown $80 per game is a very ballsy move, I'll say, and surprises me, especially on top of the fact that the Switch 2 already costs so much more. But then Mario Kart World comes down from $80 to $50 if you get it in the bundle. So chances are most people are going to get the Mario Kart World bundle. I do want that physical case. I'm a physical gamer, as you can see, but still it's good to see that here. I think those are the big things that I really wanted to talk about. Those were my first impressions for this whole thing. And let me tell you, I still just can't believe what's happening. Future Russ here. I got a couple more updates for you. A few hours after the presentation actually aired, we got quite a bit of detail. But first, I missed a couple things. We got Silksong. We haven't heard about Silksong in such a long time, and chat was going crazy. We also got a bunch of other games, like, you know, Fortnite. Oh my goodness! I've done so many Fortnite videos on Nintendo Switch. You better believe I'll be milking Fortnite on Nintendo Switch 2 even more. I'm sure a lot of other creators will do that as well, but no, I'm the Fortnite Nintendo Switch guy. Trust me. I also forgot to mention the Zelda Notes feature on the Nintendo Switch app. Pretty much you can tie this to your Nintendo Switch 2, and the app will know where you are in game and give you hints to where other Korok seeds are, just other things about the game. It'll show you on the map, on the phone. It's weird. I don't think I'd ever use it, but it's a cool feature, I guess. I don't know why they did that, but maybe they just want to integrate it a little more into the app. But one of the craziest things to me, as a big physical gamer, we got the physical box art shown. My goodness, it's red. Yes, instead of the clear outside like the normal Switch games, it looks like the plastic on the outside now is red, which is very Nintendo-y, and I'm glad that it's changed. On top of that, there's not the logo in the top left corner anymore. It's in the middle on the top. There's like a banner on the very top of the game case. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna take a little bit to get used to, but I think I like it so far. It's kind of weird that it's taken up that whole top banner and the logo is just in the center. I don't know why they didn't stretch it out a little bit more, but hey, we still have physical games that we know of. Because the next thing that I also want to bring up are these physical game card key things. There is a cartridge in the box, but the game's not actually on the cartridge. So pretty much what happens is you put this cartridge in the Switch 2, and then it downloads the game from the eShop. That cartridge is just a key that shows that you have the game, and it acts like a physical game too. You can't play the game unless the card is in the Switch 2, which is just like really weird. The game's not actually running off the card, it's just showing the Switch that you have the cartridge. So a lot of these games are just gonna have to be downloaded, but it seems that Mario Kart and Donkey Kong don't have this, but a lot of games will. It's weird. Maybe Nintendo will utilize this a little more for like really big games, or who knows? I have no idea. But hey, also the cartridges are red now. That's fun. Yeah, I am loving this box art. We'll have to figure out what these game card keys mean a little bit more. And speaking of the box art, it seems like Switch 1 games will be repackaged in Switch 2 box art. For example, you got Mario Party Jamboree, now with the TV Plus mode or whatever it's called. As it says, they will be repackaged physically and be sold again. If you already have the game, you can either upgrade for free with NSO that you pay for, or you can buy it separately. I still haven't seen the price on the upgrade separately, but we'll know that sooner or later. But hey, I like that they repackage it. My collector brain says that I need to buy the game again because I want that case, but I don't think I'm going to do that because that's an expensive decision. Also, physical media is obviously dying at this point. Nintendo is preparing us. The other thing we got was the first look at the home screen and the eShop. The home screen looks very similar to the first Nintendo Switch. The edges are more round and there's more icons at the bottom, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing crazy going on. Got the new chat thing. Looks like the news icon has been reworked, and the eShop looks different. Speaking of eShop, it's brand new. Apparently, this eShop is not slow anymore. It has all the same tabs like the feature, best sellers, great deals, but it also recommends new games for you to try out based on what your friends play and what you play. So that's exciting. I like the eShop updates. I'm going to be doing more videos on Switch 2 soon. Anyways, back to other Russ. We have still so many videos that we're working on, and just wait till the Switch 2 comes out. We're going to be loading it up. So if you want to support me, please consider becoming a channel member. There are a ton of exclusive videos for you to watch right now. You get videos early, and you get an exclusive Discord chat with me while I'm active, getting ready for the Switch 2. On top of that, you also get your name at the end of every single video, so just know that you're helping this channel as we go into this next generation. And also, you can help me pay for Mario Kart, please. YouTube thinks you're gonna wanna watch this video next, so maybe you should do that. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.